परम करुणा बहुदुई जाना निताय गौरा चंद्रा सब अवतारा सारा शिरोमणि केवले आनंद कंदा 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 भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य निताय सुदृढ़ विश्वास कोरी भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य निताय सुदृढ़ विश्वास कोरी भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य निताय सुदृढ़ विश्वास कोरी कोरी विषया छड़िया सिरसा माझिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि विषया छड़िया दिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि विषया छड़िया सेरा से माझिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि विषया छड़िया बोलो हरि हरि देखो आरो भाई त्रिभुवने नाई हे मन दयाल दास देखो आरो भाई त्रिभुवने नाई हे मन दयाल दाता देखो आरो भाई त्रिभुवने नाई हे मन दयाल दाता दाता पशु पाखी झूरे पशना बिदारे सुनि जाना गुना गाता पशु पाखी झूरे पशना बिदारे सुनि जाना गुना गाता पशु पाखी झूरे पशना बिधारे सुनि जाना रघुना गुना पशु पाखी झूरे संसारा माझिया রহিল পুরিয়া সে পাদে নাহিল আশা সংসারা মাঝিয়া সংসারা মাঝিয়া রহিল পুরিয়া সে পাদে নাহিল আশা সংসারা পুরিয়া अपना कर्मा बुझे समाना कोहे लोचन दास अपना कर्मा दास अपना कारमा भुंजे सामाना कोहे लोचन दास दासा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीपाद लोचन दास महाराज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So let me read out the translation of the bhajan, what we just read. Number 1, the two lords Nitai Gaura Chandra are very merciful. They are the essence of all the incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduce a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. My dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna consciousness by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hari Hari without any motive. My dear brother, just try and examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great that upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. But Lochana Das regrets that I am entrapped by sense gratification since I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Then Yamaraja, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. श्रीपाद लोचन दास महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, everybody. Today we are reading from Canto 4, chapter number 5, entitled as Frustration of the Sacrifice of Daksha. And today we're going to read out from text number 13 till text number 21. So, text number 13 we will all read together, and the rest of the verses I will read by myself. Tavat sarudra nachar mahamakho नानायुधीर वमना की उदय दीहि पिंगे है पिशंग्री मकरोदर नानहे परयाद्रवाद भीर विद्रुरान वृद्ध्यता तावत् सरुद्रानुचरेर महामखो नानायुधीर वमनकेर उदय देहे पिंगे पिशंगेर मकरोदर नानहे प्रदया अपरयाद्रवेद भीर वितृणावृध्यता प्लीज तावत्स रुद्रानुचरेर्महामखो नानायुधैर्वमनाकरेरुदायायुधैः पिंगे पिशंगैर्मकरोदरनानहे पारायद्रवाद्वे विदुरानुवृद्ध्यता. Please everybody chant. It's not that one person has to chant. तावत्सरुद्रानुचरेर्महामखो नानायुधैरेव मुने मकारुदयदे पिंगे पिशंगैर्मकरोदरनानहे परयाद्रवाद्वे विदुरानुवृद्ध्यता तावत्सरुद्रानुचरेर्महामखो नानायुधैर्वमनखैरुदायुधैः पिंगे पिशंगे मकरोद्रनानहे परयाद्रवद्वे विद्रुणार्वुदत्या. Word to word meaning. Tavat, very quickly. Saha, that. Rudra anurachrahe, by the followers of Lord Shiva. Mahamakhe, the arena of the great sacrifice. Nana, various kinds. Ayudhe, with weapons. Vamanakhe, of short stature. Adayudhe, appraised. Pinghe, blackish. Pishange, yellowish. Makara udara ananhe, with bellies and faces like sharks. Paraya adra vidbhe, running all around. Vidura, O Vidura, Anvarudyata was surrounded. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So it's a translation of text number 13. My dear Vidura, all the followers of Lord Shiva surrounded the arena of sacrifice. They were of short stature and were equipped with various kinds of weapons. Their bodies appear to be like those of sharks, blackish and yellowish. They ran all around the sacrificial arena and thus began to create disturbances. Text number 14. Translation. Some of the soldiers pulled down the pillars which were supporting the pandals of sacrifice. Some of them entered the female quarters. Some began destroying the sacrificial arena, and some entered the kitchen and the residential quarters. Text number 15. Translation. They broke all the pots made for use in the sacrifice, and some of them began to extinguish the sacrificial fire. Some tore down the boundary line of the sacrificial arena, and some passed urine on the arena. Text number 16. Translation. Some blocked the way of the fleeing sages, some threatened the women assembled there, and some arrested the demigods who were fleeing the pandal. Text number 17. Translation. Maniman, one of the followers of Lord Shiva, arrested Bhrigu Muni, and Veerbhadra, the black demon, arrested Prajapati Daksha. Another follower, who was named Chandesha, arrested Pusha. Nandishwara arrested the demigod Bhaga. Text number 18, translation. There was a continuous shower of stones, and all the priests and other members assembled at the sacrifice were put into immense misery. For fear of their lives, they dispersed in different directions. Text number 19, translation. Veerbhadra tore off the mustache of Bhrigu, who was offering the sacrificial oblation with his hands in the fire. Text number 20. Translation. Veerbhadra immediately caught Bhaga, who had been moving his eyebrows during Bhrigu's cursing of Lord Shiva, and out of great anger thrust him to the ground and forcibly put out his eyes. Hare Krishna. Text number 21. Translation and purport. Translation. Just as Baladeva knocked out the teeth of Dantavakra, the king of Kalinga, during the gambling match as the marriage ceremony of Aniruddha, Veerbhadra knocked out the teeth of both Daksha, who had shown them while cursing Lord Shiva, and Pusha, who by simply sympathetically had also shown his teeth. Purport. Here, a reference is made to the marriage of Aniruddha, the grandson of Lord Krishna's. He kidnapped the daughter of Dantavakra, and thereafter he was arrested. Just as he was to be punished for kidnapping, the soldiers from Dwarka arrived headed by Balaram, and a fight ensued among the Kshatriyas. This sort of fight was very common, especially during marriage ceremony. When everyone was in challenging spirit, in that challenging spirit, a fight was sure to occur, and in such fights, there was commonly killing and misfortune. After finishing such fighting, the parties would come to a compromise and everything would be settled. This Daksha Yagya was similarly to such events. Now, all of them, Daksha and the demigods Bhaga and Pusha and Bhrigu Muni, were punished by the soldiers of Lord Shiva. But later, everything would come to a peaceful end. So, this spirit of fighting between one another was not exactly inimical, because everyone was so powerful and wanted to show his strength by Vedic mantra or mystic power. All these fighting skills were very elaborately exhibited by the different parties of the Daksha. ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपिशा गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचना गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चाति देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे. So you can see the title of the chapter itself speaks so much. Thank you. It says frustration of the sacrifice of Daksha. Because he's not a Prajapati, he's the Prajapati. He's the head among all the Prajapatis, Daksha. And he started this sacrifice, which is he's doing second time. First time when he did, and then he cursed Lord Shiva. This is the second time he's doing it. And you can see he's doing for the welfare of all the humanity. He's not just doing for himself, because he's a Brahmana, he's a sage, and he's doing it for the welfare of the whole humanity, especially to please the supreme personality of Godhead. And he's a paka, paka Brahmana, but being puffed off of his own education, of his own caste, taken a birth from a very highly Brahmaji, direct son, and so. The enviness is so heavy in him that he has surpassed all the boundaries. He That's why the position and the knowledge and the beauty and the wealth, the six opulences, they are so intoxicated in this material world that whoever or immature person, when he or she acquires this quality, they become intoxicated. And with that intoxication, they don't know what they are doing. It's going to harm them. Instead of being as a strength, those opulences being as a strength, they become the weakness, or they become the source of their fall down. And that's what happened here to Daksha. Mitra Muni, he's continuing explaining to Vidura what has happened during those sacrifices. Because as soon as the Lord Shiva heard that his wife, she left the body, and his associates been chased by the sages there, those who were there, he was very upset. He was super upset. निम्न गाना यथा गंगा देवा नाम अच्युतो यथा वैष्णव नाम यथा शंभु पुराना नाम idam tata. Among all the Ganges, among all the river, Ganges is the best. Among all the devas, Achyuta, Lord Krishna is the best. Among all the Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the best. And among all the Puranas, Śrimad Bhāgavatam is the best. In many times, if you see throughout the whole Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Srila Prabhupada using the Vedic references, and he emphasizes, no wonder Brahmanas are very dear to Lord Krishna. Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Guru Brahmana Hitaya Jagat Dittaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. No wonder they are very dear. Okay? But more than, if the Vaishnava is there, he overrides the caste Brahmana. Because by nature, Brahmana is already included when you become a Vaishnava. When you already become a Vaishnava, you already a Brahmana. He surpasses. Because Brahmana means Brahmana iti janate Brahman. The person who know the Brahman. And who is the Brahman? Lord Krishna is the supreme Brahman. He is the source. Brahmano hi pratishtha aham. I am the source of the Brahman. Matha pratram na anyat kisti asti dhananjaya. Mai idam sarvam protam sutre manigana iva. I am the supreme absolute truth. There is no truth superior to me. The way these necklaces are being strung with the thread. That's how I am there. Have you ever seen the thread here? If anyone wearing the necklaces? No, because the thread is hidden in between the pearls. So we don't see it. But that does not mean they're hanging by themselves. They have been attached. And the real thread is Lord Krishna. He is the source of everything over there. So you can see the Brahmana here, which is Daksha, his offenses were so severe, and you can see the power of Lord Shiva. Okay, Lord Shiva, first of all, he didn't come himself. What he did, you can see the power of his body. He just took the one hair out of his head, just the one hair. Speak about if he himself comes fully there? What will happen? He just took the one hair out of his head and he threw it on the ground, and suddenly a Veerbhadra comes out, a very ferocious demon. And as soon as he comes out, his hands are folded in front of his Swami, his honor, who gave him the birth. And Lord Shiva says, you are the chief of my all associates. So there is a task for you. I have kept it. Go kill Daksha and just destroy the whole sacrificial arena. And that's how they come up here. Because Daksha, he was taking Lord Shiva very lightly. There is a saying in India, when someone is very powerful, and if he's not showing his power, they say, Prabhuji, don't take me lightly. So there is a warning there. If I'm not showing my power, that does not mean that I don't have it. It is just I don't want to use it. Prabhupada says, as soon as you become a Vaishnava, Śrimad Bhāgavatam says, all the qualities of demigods, it just automatically comes in you. You don't have to develop personally or work on that. As soon as you start chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you start serving the Lord, the qualities are already there because we are a part and parcel of the Lord. Okay, whatever the qualities is there in Krishna, we all have all those qualities. But the issue is his quality is unlimited and our qualities are very, very limited. He's infinite, we are finite. Okay, and you can see the power of Lord Shiva here. I mean, he insulted everything, whatever the Daksha said. He drank all those insults very humbly. Why? Because the position of a Vaishnava is so higher by the practice of devotional service, then they raise themselves above all the three modes of material nature. He was completely on a transcendental platform. He's not under the modes of material nature, even though he is in charge of mode of ignorance. He's been called Tamsi also. If you read the Canto 5 and end of the Canto 5, where the last chapter, it's talk about Sankarshana, who is another incarnation of Lord Krishna. Sankarshana is the actual in charge of mode of ignorance. And Lord Shiva worship Lord Sankarshana, so he is also the in charge of mode of ignorance. So they both been called Tamsi, but that does not mean they under the mode of material ignorance. No, they are completely, they are just a controller. We say the person is a jailer. A jailer means he's the in charge. That does not mean he's inside the jail. So that's where the Lord Shiva is. And he drank all those insult very humbly. But what has happened? Do you think the Lord Krishna will forgive those who has insulted his Vaishnava? He never forgives. You say throughout the whole history, if you read either Śrimad Bhāgavatam or Mahabharata or many other Puranas where you get the more pastimes of Lord Krishna, you see whoever, even the tinge of an insult being done against his pure devotee, Krishna does not forgive. He really punishes that person. Draupadi, Pandavas, and many other, you just name it there. Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, he personally comes and he takes care of the charge. He personally comes. And here, do you think that Krishna as a Paramatma form, is he not living in the heart of every living entity? Yes, he is living. Doesn't he know that Lord Shiva is going to come and punish Daksha, and Daksha is a Brahmana? So let me go and just save him. He should do it. No, because he made a very heavy mistake. So for that heavy mistake, that was the permission of the Lord that Daksha must be punished for his offenses. And sometimes a father also chastise or give punishment to the son if the son becomes more mischievous, because their level of chastisement, either they just use the word, please Prabhuji, please, my son, don't do it, it is not good for you. And if he doesn't listen, next time he does the same thing, then a bit more raised voice. If it's more, then bit more raised voice. And if he thinks he's not able to correct himself, so let me use some kind of a punishment. It could be a small punishment, it could be a big punishment, it could be a very big punishment, or some punishments are forever also. So in this way, Krishna approved, because his pure devotee, Lord Shiva, is going to punish Daksha. And the punishment is so severe. When they came, all of those, and who were these? They're the associates of Lord Shiva. They are like, goblins and ghost, and some has one leg, some has three legs, some has one eye, some has three eyes, some has five eyes, some has many hands. They were looking so awful, because he's so merciful that he gives the shelter to those people that no one gives them the shelter. Is so merciful in his presentation, Lord Shiva. And they all came. They were doing the service to the Lord. They came, they destroyed, they punished whomever they could punish. Somebody took the hooks off, somebody broke the teeth, some eyes plugs out, and many others, hands broken, teeth broken, head broken, leg broken. Many things were happened because they all were taking the side of Daksha. When Daksha was using his power to curse Lord Shiva, they all agreed. They all were being approved with that, and they share the same amount of offense that they did toward Lord Shiva. So it is very, very important, if you can see something is going on wrong, and if you don't say it, that means you are also partaking into that sin, and you will be equally punished for that. So somewhere we need to, use our side and make that person into consciousness. Ki Baba, you are doing something wrong. Do not do it. And apart from that, if he still does it, okay, then he has to bear the consequences, not the other person. Where's the pastime here? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Jagai and Madai, when a one person broke the clay pot on the head of Nityananda Prabhu, okay, who was that? It was Madhai who stopped. Yeah? Yeah. Jagai, he hit the pot at the head of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and Madhai stopped second time. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's a sadhu. You made him bleed. This is a great offense. He came into consciousness. And when this got to know, when this news went to Lord Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became so furious. He ran with the chakra to kill them. As soon as he raised this chakra to kill both of them, especially, then Lord Nityananda Prabhu hold the feet of Mahaprabhu and he says, don't do that. Madhai saved me. Madhai, when Jagai was beating me second time, Madhai saved me. So please be merciful upon to him. And he says, okay, I will not do it. But this rascal, he has to be punished. And they say, please don't do him also. Then, he was being pacified. But here, nobody did say anything because they were all afraid of Daksha. They knew if I'll stop the Daksha, then he will turn his 160-degree head and then he will curse me back, then I will be also punished. But that does not mean you will be escaped by the punishment. You have to face the sin. And the same thing has happened here in this 21 verse. Srila Prabhupada gives an example of Dantavakra. It is that, yeah, it's a Dantavakra. When his great grandson Aniruddha, then he went to, because in Kshatriya, this is a normal thing to kidnap someone's sister, someone's daughter, and to get married, because it is just a common thing, because they show their chivalry power, their strength, how powerful they are. Krishna also fought alone. Rukmani came, and he just went to kidnap her, and he just fought with everybody. And then Arjuna came. He just he went to please his dear friend, and he fought on behalf of Krishna towards everybody there. And all is Pradyumna, others are Aniruddha, Samba, there were many other there. They did the same thing. And it's a common practice among Kshatriyas. It's not a big deal. But in those days, because they were so envious, Dantavakra and this party were so envious, when Balramji, they were playing dice. So they were cheating. They were cheating. And every time Balramji loses, the other party laughs. you know they just laugh. Oh, you lost the bet. What kind of a kshatriya are you? You don't know how to play the dice. So many, like, when you try to increase someone's anger, so you use the word very sarcastically, and they were using it. And suddenly the omen came at the end. No, you all are cheater. Balram has won. And as soon as Balram has won, he just took his plow, and whoever, whatever they were doing against him, he took the teeth out. He just used his fist to, punch on someone's head, and he just went to the, you know, Dharaloka. He just and many other things happened. They're quite unparalleled. You cannot just, think about that. If somebody, or you, if you hit somebody with your fist on the head, do you think that person will go to the earthly planet or something, in the ground? It's not possible. But it was possible for the Lord. How powerful they were. And he's using the same example and saying the same thing. The same event happened in the sacrificial arena here. They came, they destroyed because they were so unhappy. But later on, like, everything went so well, and it was a happy ending. You will see in the further few shlokas there, when Veerbhadra kills the Daksha, chops the heads off, and then, Lord Shiva comes, then he feels so, sorry, oh sorry, I was very puffed up. Then many apologies happen, then blessings happen, then, Lord Shiva puts the heads on of a goat, and so many things are there. So the pastime, the lessons we learn from the pastimes, that we need to be mindful dealing with the Vaishnavas, because we don't know how powerful they are. Even though in some way Srila Prabhupada writes, or especially in the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, when his stepmother, when she made a very severe offense toward Dhruva Maharaj, even though that time he was not a devotee, he was just an ordinary child. Okay, he was just an ordinary child, and that time she uses very harsh word, and that pierced the heart of Dhruva Maharaj. Okay, when he went to the forest, then he see the Lord, get the benediction, comes back. After that, in somewhere in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that we need to be very mindful dealing with the Vaishnava or any living entity. Because if we made an offense towards any living entity, and if that living entity in the future becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, then Krishna takes that offense which you did long time ago very seriously, and he punishes you. So that means we don't know who is a pure devotee in this world, even though if the person is outside also. We don't know. Today he must be playing a role of, karmi people, materialistic people. In the future, if he becomes a Vaishnava or something, then somewhere we also need to, bear some kind of punishment. It depends how severe is the offense. Some offenses, it may be pardoned by bowing down in the front of the Vaishnava. Some may not. It's up to the Lord. So better, we need to be very mindful, especially when the positions are given to us. When the positions are given to us to facilitate or to do some service, so we should not be puffed off, because these things are completely temporary. There was somebody else in the past were taking care of that post. Now you are there, and in the future somebody else will come. These things are completely temporary. But people don't remember what you were on your position what they do, they remember how was your dealing during that time with them, and the relationship becomes very bitter even after you give up the position or you've been taken off from the position. People still remembers, because the real thing comes out, because the big power comes with big responsibilities. So we need to be use those powers in the service of the Lord, not to show how powerful or how opulent or how big we are. Sometime or many times or all the times, the position, it fans our false ego. If you see those people who are on the street lying down as as a homeless people, so much they have a false ego. Even in English it says, even the pauper is a proud of his penny. They are so proud when we go for a books distribution and this and that, and the person says, a beggar is lying on the street. He says, "Hey, go away from here. Go do your books somewhere else. This is my area." What? You are lying down in someone's shop outside. The owner will come and he can kick you out because he's not here. You are thinking this is your shop, and you are telling us you to go away. This is my area to beg. Even the pauper is proud of his penny. And what to speak about when there is a real position is given, how much we can be puffed up. Now we need to be very mindful. Okay, and today is a Lochan Das Thakur's disappearance day, his Tirobhav. I'm just going to read out some of his beautiful pastime. One of the pastime which I really liked it, that anyway I will read when we go through with it. The song we just sang, it was written by Lochan Das Thakur. Okay. Sri Lochan Das Thakur appeared in this world in 1520 AD, 34 years after the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lochan Das Thakur wrote a biography on Lord Chaitanya, which is called Chaitanya Mangal, and many other devotional songs in the service of the Lord. Sri Lochandas Thakur took birth in a family of Radiha physicians who reside in the village of Kogram within the Mahakumara, Katna district of Bridhama. His guru was Sri Narhari Sarkar Thakur. In his Chaitanya Mangala Sattva Khanda, he is offering his obeisances and his prayer to his spiritual master, and he is saying, I am the servant of Thakur Sri Narhari, who is the master of my life, the desire of all my desires. I place at his lotus feet, which is that this wild creature, which he is talking to himself, might describe something about the wonderful qualities of Sri Gaur Sundara. In this expectation, he is only my refuge. His father name was Sri Kamlakara Das and his mother name was Sri Sadananda. He was the only son of his parents. He was raised in his maternal grandfather's home and his education was completed there. When he was only a little boy, he enjoyed the good fortune of meeting the devotees of Lord Gaurasundara. And that's where he is the most powerful point or the striking lesson for all of us here, especially for the householders, Prabhus. Since Lochana Das Thakur was married at very early age, his wife at first, because in those times they were getting married at the age of 5 or 6 or 7 like that. But in those times when the marriage happened, so the girl goes to her father's house where she was living, and the boy goes to his father's house where he was living. And when she become matured, when there is a time to unite them, then when, let's say maybe 14, 16 years, when she comes back to the house of her husband and she lives there. So in this past time, when Lochan Das Thakur, when he got married at the early age, okay, the girl went to her father's house and he gone. But by seeing the devotion towards the Lord Krishna, his parents and the parents of the girls, they became afraid. Oh my God, he's showing so much devotion. I don't know whether he's going to be a brahmachari. What will happen to my daughter? So they thought, okay, Lochan, now you can go and get your wife here. And he says, no, I'm not going to go. I am busy, engaged, serving the Lord. Then the parents goes to his spiritual master, who is Narhari Sarkar Thakur. They go and tell him, Ki, sir, my dear, your one of your dear disciple, he got married at the early age and he's not going to get his wife. Kindly order him. And when then Lochan Das Thakur got the order from his spiritual master and he goes there, and when as soon as he's passing through the village, because he was very young when he got, and he forgot how to go, where is the house, who is the girl, because 7 8 year old girl became 18 years old. There's so much change in there. So he saw one Mataji on the way, and he says, "My dear mother, my dear Mata, I'm going to get somebody, and this is a so and so name of the father and the mother," and say, and she says, and she showed the path. Okay, you can go from here, do left, do right, you can go and meet. By the time he reaches there, he found out the girl he asked for the path, that was his own wife. But the advancement of his spiritual life or his consciousness was so high, because he called her mother, he never looked her into the eyes as a wife. He got her, he always addressed her or treated her as a mother, and engaged her also in the service of the Lord. I mean, who can do this? I mean, whose householders can do that, nowadays? Prabhupada says in the teaching that except your own wife, you see everybody as a mother. But here, because the Lochan Das Thakur has said once, even accidentally, he said once, mother to his own wife, which he didn't know that he accepted her actually as a mother. He treated her actually as a mother. The book that he composed, Chaitanya Mangal, was from the diary of Shri Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta, who resides at Nadia, composed many beautiful verses about the life of Shri Gauranga. This includes the youthful pastimes of Nimai, which Murari Gupta personally took part in, and his later pastime in Nilachal, after he accepted sannyasa, which were narrated by Sri Damodar Pandit. Having heard these verses of Murari Gupta composed in Sanskrit, I have become very attached, and so I have composed them in the village folk poetry meter of Bengal. In Chaitanya Mangal, Sri Lochan Das Thakur has written, "My hope of hope is to near the lotus feet of Sri Narihari Thakur, to serve and worship him with very life. The cherished desire of the fallen Lochan Das is to be allowed by the grace of Narihari to sing the glories of Shri Gauranga. My Lord is Shri Narihari Thakur and I am his servant. Bowing and praying before him, I beg him to allow me his service. This is my only aspiration." Did you find anything while I was reading? That Lochan Das Thakur or many other, all of our acharyas, whatever they are going to do, first of all, they pray at the lotus feet of their spiritual master. Because by their blessings, you cannot complete any spiritual task. And whatever we do, any task, we must offer them back to our Guru Maharaj. That's what he's doing. He said, first of all, I am lame, I am deaf, I am unintelligent, I don't have anything. But by the mercy of my spiritual master, I may glorify Lord Gaur Sundara. And after completing the work, he's saying, ki, by the blessings of my Lord, who is Narhari Thakur Sarkar, I was able to complete the task. So all the time, even in the beginning, even in the end, even in the middle, if we read Chaitanya Charitamrita also, everything, every writer, every author, every acharya, they are offering their obeisances or their thanks to the previous acharyas. All the spiritual masters, especially to their spiritual master, because yasya prasada bhagavad prasada yasya aprasada nagate kutobi. But we cannot approach directly to Lord God Sundara, to Lord Krishna. The formula is, you can offer everything to your spiritual master, he will do to his spiritual master, and further upward it will go directly to the Lord Krishna. That's how he accepts. If you are saying you are my devotee directly, you are not my devotee. But if you are saying you are the devotee of my devotee, then I accept you as my devotee. That's what is being showed here. Previously in Bengal, especially East Bengal, which is now has become Bangladesh, the poet used to compose sacred songs and verses in different forms of classic rims and rhythmic meters. It's called Panchali, such as Lakshmir Panchali, Sanir Panchali, Mansa, Bhashan. The Panchali style of composition was specially used for glorifying the Lord. Srila Lochan Das Thakur used the Panchali form of verse meter in composing his famous work, Sri Chaitanya Mangal. The Panchali form employs 5 different kinds of song styles or meters. The principal source material that was drawn upon Sri Lochan Das Thakur in composing Sri Chaitanya Mangal was a Sanskrit book by Murari Gupta called Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam. Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat was originally called Chaitanya Mangal. It is said that Srila Rochan Das Thakur and Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Thakur gave it the name Chaitanya Bhagavat. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes, Krishna Lila Bhagavata Kahe Veda Vyasa Chaitanya Lila Ra Vyasa Vrindavan Dasa. Vedvyas has described the pastime of Krishna in his Bhagavata, the Vyasa of Chaitanya Lila in Vrindavan Das. From this comparison between Veda Vyasa and Vrindavan Das, it has been concluded that Kaviraj Goswami is probably responsible for Vrindavan Das Thakur's work becoming known as the Bhagavata of Chaitanya Lila or Chaitanya Bhagavat. So there are many pastimes of Sri Chaitanya that has been touched on briefly by Vrindavan Thakur. These are described in detail in Chaitanya Mangal of Lochan Das Thakur. So about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, there is a book written by Lochan Das Thakur, there is a book written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, and there is a book written by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Thakur. So whoever has written, it is not overwriting each other's book. No, everybody has their different pastime because the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is such a unlimited, it cannot be described in few books. But they have just given us a glimpse that by reading them, we can come closer to the lotus feet of Shri Gaurasundara. So the Chaitanya Mangal, which is the masterpiece of Lochan Das Thakur, it's been divided into 4 sections, which is Sutra Khanda, Adi Khanda, Madhyama Khanda, and Shesha Khanda. The Sutra Khanda has 2 chapters, Adi Khanda has 7, Madhyama Khanda has 12, and the Shesha Khanda has 3. So you can see, even though we don't hear much about them, but the amount of service they have done to the humanity by giving the information of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, while keeping the knowledge of Vedic scriptures, they are very, very profound and enlightening to our life. So we must take some time out to read them. Okay, so we have 5-7 minutes. If anybody has any questions, any reflection, or anything to share, I would like to answer them. Use the microphone. No, it's not working. Okay, Prabhu, you can just say. I can repeat on the mic. The point I said about the Mataji, what he called to his wife, that pastime. Yeah.
Her as a mother.
He considered her entire life as a mother.
Yeah, but in ISKCON, it's always we call Mataji, like whoever we meet.
We meet, we call everyone Mataji, not only in ISKCON, outside also.
Out, of course,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whoever, like
Yeah.
So of course this pastime cannot be imitated.
Yeah, definitely cannot be. Yeah.
So because you mentioned that this is a lesson for the grihastha, so I
Yeah.
was wondering like what point you were trying to make. So
Yeah, but the point is that if you see, there are many Srila Prabhupada disciples. When they got married, I know them personally, but I won't take their name. So it was arranged by Srila Prabhupada. They got married, and if it's not, then they got married, and it was the initial phase of their life. So they were calling their wife whatever the name was there. But later on, when they become matured and they're ripe, and they're following the rules and regulations of their particular ashram, which is householder ashrama, and they took vanaprastha and everything, then they start calling their own wife as Mataji. So that shows the advancement of their spiritual consciousness. They have been advanced so highly, even though they beget the children with their wife, but after some more years of their maturity, because it was the service. Begetting a children with their own wife and with your husband, it is a service of a householders. So when that service is being done, so we should not entangle ourselves in the sense gratification. But that requires a amount of good hearing, realization, service, and good chanting, and your behavior to advance in spiritual life. And they showed. Lochan Das Thakur, we are only just hearing from the scriptures, but they are practical examples live in front of us, which are Srila Prabhupada, disciples, and many, and they are also followers. and it will be go on when a person becomes mature, and they start actually saying it's not from only from a man's side. They have to see even from the lady's side. They have to see their husband also in form of a father or a son. They cannot just use their husband also for a sense, sense enjoyment. So it's a both side party. But until unless when you become even more mature, then you don't see them. You just see them as a spirit soul and you serve them. Because okay, on the path of my material journey or my spiritual journey, Krishna gave me a partner, a spouse, a male or a female, and we worked together, we got children, we raised, and we are increasing our consciousness. We worked each other, and now we are seeing each other as a spirit soul. So let us serve, let's go back to Godhead, because their consciousness changes from male and female to a spirit soul, and that's a very high consciousness. I mean, who can call that? So that requires a lot of practice and serving the Vaishnavas, hearing and reading Śrimad Bhāgavatam. That's how it can become up. Yeah. Yes. Okay, if there's no question, thank you so much, everybody. Granthra Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Lochan Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Jai Prabhupada ki jai. Why you didn't ask the question?